record and I forgot. So at the end of this, I will send you an email with the recorded video so that you can go back and listen to it again and maybe go over some of the things that we quickly go over because we only have a short amount of time here. But you can go back and re-listen, and then I'm also going to send you a one-page sheet that has some questions on it of the things that I really want you to be thinking about and answering over the next month. So with that being said, we're just going to go ahead and dive in. So as I mentioned, my goal is to help you find clarity in what it is you want out of this business that you've decided to invest in. Because without that clarity, you're always going to be running on the hamster wheel. You're always going, I have ADD, and I kind of like describe it like ADD, where it's like, you know, a squirrel runs by and you want to pay attention to that. Or, you know, somebody says, well, what about this? And then you want to pay attention to that. No, you have to get really clear on your mission and what it is that you want out of this. And that's something that Emily and I have been working on with her, is just to really get clear about who it is you're trying to serve and why you're trying to serve them. So there was a time that I just became like master of survival, like constantly in this survival mode and not really living or thriving in my life. And that is not what we are meant to be here for. We're meant to be here to live our lives and make an impact on this world, not to just kind of get up, feed the kids, go to work, come home, make dinner, put them to bed, and then get up and do it all over again the next day. That's not why we're here. And I was in such a dark, dark place that there was a period of time for me that I felt like, and it's kind of a humbling and sobering thought as I say it out loud today, is like there was a point in my life where I can remember thinking, if I wasn't here, my life insurance money would take care of my family, and they wouldn't have to deal with the stress that we're dealing with on a daily basis. And at that point, and I lived in that kind of mode for, I would say, about 3 or 4 months. And then finally, at the end of last year, I was like, this is no kind of life for any of us. And I refused to live that way anymore. And so what I want for you is to never, ever get to that point. If you are at that point, I want you to get out of that point. And if you've never been at that point, I want you to stay far away from that point. I was living my life through what I would describe as dirty glasses, like, or this fog-filled, perspective, that it just felt like I couldn't get through any of that to see the beauty on the other side. And there are about 7 really transformative things that I did that I'm going to go over with you today that I think will really help you get that clarity that you need so that you know how you're going to go out into the world and really nail down what your passion is, what your purpose is, and why you're actually sitting in this chair listening to me talk to you. Because we all have that burning desire, that why that is just living inside of us that we dream about. And that's what I want you to focus your attention on and put all of your energy into. Okay. So the first step that I want to talk about today is just making that decision to want to up-level your lives and your businesses. You can talk about it or think about it all day long, but until you truly make the decision and really start to take action, that's when all of the magic starts to happen. So I want you to ask yourself, do you believe that you really can have all of the things that you desire? Whether that be going to the grocery store without having to bring your calculator. That was one of mine. Maybe it's having a big house. Maybe it's being able to travel to go see your families, or to bring your families to you. But whatever that is, I want you to really think about, do you truly believe that you can have that and that you're worth that? Because that's the question that you really need to meditate on, pray about, and really get real with yourself. Because if you don't believe that you can have all of those things, like if you're going through the motions, but you're thinking like, yeah, that's not really going to work out for me, then it truly isn't going to work out for you. So you have to get your mind in the right place so that it will work out for you. So in order to do that, I want you to write a commitment statement to yourself. And in this commitment statement, you're going to write out what those big dreams are that you're going to accomplish. What do you want to be, do, or have? That's going to be in your commitment statement. What destructive habits are you going to stop? What are the things that are kind of holding you back now? For some, it could be TV. Others, like me, it could be Candy Crush on occasion. It could be any of those things. And so what are the destructive habits that are really kind of stopping you from focusing your attention and your energy in the right places? And then kind of write this statement as if what your life is going to look like on December 31st of 2016. So that's just a few months away. I want you to just write this commitment statement of just the next few months. What are you committing to go after just for the next, 5 months now, that you can put all of your energy and your focus into? The commitment statement should be powerful. It should evoke some emotion. It should be something that will, when you read it in the morning or when you read it at night, will drive you to do what it is you said you were going to do. It's almost like you can't not do it. So that's the commitment statement that I want you to write. It's not kind of this big audacious dream that you know is not going to happen in the next 5 months. I want this to be something that you can really focus your energy and your attention to for the next several months so that you can see your own progress made in yourself and in your family. Okay, step 2 is going to be surrounding yourself with people that bring out the best in you. So we all have those people that we love, but at the end of the day, you feel like your energy is totally sucked out of you after you spent a couple of hours with these people. Now, in some cases, those people are people we can't get rid of. In some cases, it's our spouses. Hopefully that's not any of you, but it might be. In that case, we have to put it into, those people need to go in a box, right? And you need to let them out, and they can be in your space when it's okay for you to do that, or when you're in a good spot to do that. I want you to make more time for the people that make you feel amazing. Chances are it's the people that are sitting in this room with you right now. And those people are going to be the ones that you want to just surround yourself with all of the time. They're going to be the ones that make you feel amazing. Like when you leave them, you're like, oh, I love being around that person. I just feel better. I feel more inspired. I laugh a little bit more. Those types of people are who you want to surround yourself with. Social media has a really positive aspect to it, and it can have a really negative aspect to it. So as you're trying to kind of block a lot of that negativity and a lot of that yucky stuff that you see, hide those people on Facebook. You don't have to unfriend them or make some big production about, I'm clearing out my friends list and you made it. You don't have to do any of that. But there is a simple way that you can just hide those people so that you don't have to see that. And it's kind of like my version of putting them in their box. So I'll hide them for a little while, and then I'll be like, oh, wonder what so-and-so's up to. And then I'll unhide them, and then I'll see that nothing has really changed, and so I'll re-hide them. But you have to have control over that. So when I open up my Facebook feed, it's full of nothing but positivity, because that's how the choice that I've made with the people that I let into my space. And so don't feel guilty about hiding that aunt that's crazy, that wants to post like politics stuff all day long. And if you're that person, I want you to think about what that's serving someone else. You have to think about what you're putting out there. So if you're that person that's constantly sharing the political stuff, then stop doing that. It's not serving anybody, and chances are it's just making you feel worse. So really think about that stuff before you put it out into the universe, because you can't take it back. But don't feel guilty about hiding those people, because it's not serving you, and you need to have control over that. The next thing in that same kind of category is, who do you admire? There's people that you probably admire from afar that really impress you. You kind of really love their life. You've heard probably jokes about, Facebook being called fake book, because people just want to put out what they want people to see. Who are those people that even if they're not giving you the full truth, what do you love about their lives? I want you to write that down, and I want you to really think about those people and what they're like. What are their personalities like? What are their lives like? Where do they live? What kind of habits do they have? Are they the exercise junkies that get up every morning and it's like the first thing they do? Maybe they're constantly posting their good, healthy food, meals that they're eating. Think about those things, because all of that really matters when you're surrounding yourself with those kinds of people, because you are the sum of the 5 people that you are around. And so you really need to, there's 5, how many people are in the room right now? 6?
Counting Sissy. Sissy's here too.
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Right. So you're the sum of the people that are sitting in this room.
Definitely. And
you want to make sure that you're allowing in those 5 amazing, strong people that drive you to be a better person. Stop letting in your crazy sister that wants to just constantly brag about what's going on in her life. Not to say that you have to stop loving her, because you certainly don't, but you don't have to listen to it. Okay, step 3. I want you to affirm yourself and your daily on your commitment. So that's reading your commitment statement that you've written. I want you to, just full disclosure, I am a very God-loving woman. So a lot of times I will talk about praying and God and things like that. If that's not what you believe in, focus your energy on what it is that you believe in. But for your daily affirmation statements, I want you to pray over it, meditate over it. When you're thinking about those people that you admire, that you want a life like theirs, I want you to think about, who do you need to become to have that life? So is it getting a full night's sleep? Is it actually getting up and getting showered and dressed in the morning? For me, that was huge. Like, I made it a month. I was like, I'm going to get up, I'm going to get showered. Even if I don't leave the house, I'm going to get up, get showered, and get myself ready so that I feel like I'm present for myself in my own life. It wasn't for anybody else but for me. So who do you need to become the person that you want to become? And I want you to create affirmation statements around that. So I am strong. I am beautiful. I am powerful. I am organized. I am attentive to my kids. I am is such a powerful statement. And I know it sounds cheesy. Like, you think of that. Some of you might be too young to think of this, but that Stuart Smalley, when on Saturday Night Live, he would say those affirmations in the mirror or whatever. I want you to do that. I have my affirmations written on my notes in my phone so that they're with me at all times. As cheesy as it sounds, it's like a muscle. Your mind is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. So think of it that way. The more you affirm it, the more positive it becomes. And I promise you, it's cheesy, but it works. Okay, step 4. I want you to journal daily what's weighing you down. We all have those things. Like, you open your eyes and the kids are screaming and you're thinking, what do I have to do today? Who needs me? What bills do I have to pay? All of that stuff. I want you to journal daily what's weighing you down, and I want you to stop venting and complaining to others. Your journal is going to be your vent place. So if someone does you wrong, if you get in a fight with your husband, if the kids aren't listening, if your neighbor is making you totally crazy, Stop venting and complaining to others. Stop putting that out to other people and to the universe, even if it's just for a month. Let's just say that you're not going to complain to others for a month. Your journal is where I want you to complain, all of that yucky stuff too. I want you to write down what negative thoughts and doubts that you're carrying around all day. We all have that crazy lady in our head. I jokingly call mine Crazy Shelly. So Crazy Shelly's always telling me that I'm not providing any value. I'm not giving these ladies what they need. I'm not a good mom. I'm a terrible wife because I didn't get the kitchen cleaned. You know, she's the one telling me all of these stupid false things. And so you have that same crazy lady living in your head. And so I want you to think about, what are the thoughts that you're telling yourself day in and day out that need to stop? And those are kind of the affirmations that I want you to create around those negative thoughts. So if, for example, if one of your thoughts is, I don't spend enough time with my kids, your affirmation could be, I am an amazing and involved mom. So we're trying to flip all of that. If you feel like you're not smart enough to run your own business, your affirmation would then be, I am an amazing and powerful businesswoman. What's keeping you up at night? I want you to journal about that too. Is it money? Is it your husband? Is it your parents? Is it your kids? Is it your job that you're going to every day? Is it the fact that your husband's getting orders to go someplace else? Whatever that is, I want you to write that down, what's keeping you up at night. And then after you've kind of brain dumped all of this yucky stuff into your journal, I want you to write down at least 5 things you're grateful for. Every single day, there are at least 5 things that we're grateful for. Once you start doing that, you'll see that a lot of these things that you're grateful for completely outweigh all of the crappy stuff that you think happened in the day. Okay, step 5. I want you to find a way to connect with your passion and your why daily. So, you all sell DoTerra. You all, I assume, believe in the products. You believe in living a more natural lifestyle. You believe in creating a safe environment for your families, right? So I want you to find a way to connect with that every single day. I want you, maybe it's creating a dream board that has, healthy statements on it, or powerful, natural, holistic things on it. Maybe it's, what do you love learning about? Is there someone that you can find that can teach you something that will allow you to connect your passion and your purpose into what you're doing on a daily basis with DoTerra? I want you to read your commitment statement. I want you to really connect with what your desires are. What are you hoping is going to come out of all of this? You're putting in the effort. You've taken the time out of your evening away from your families here with me. Why is that? There's a reason for that. And so I want you to really connect with that. I also want you to pick one little desire that you're going to focus on for the next 30 days. Doesn't have to be anything big. Like I said, at one point for me, it was getting up and getting showered every day. Maybe that's it for you. But I want you to pick one small thing that you can focus on accomplishing over the next month. Sometimes when we're having trouble dreaming, I know there was a period in my life where it was like when someone said, like, what do you want out of life? What are your desires? I was like, my desire is to be able to pay my bills tomorrow. And sometimes we can't even get past the funk, that the dirt on our glasses. And so if that's you, I want you to think about your 10-year-old self. So your 10-year-old cute little girl self is sitting right next to you. If she was sitting right next to you, what would she say to you? Would she say, Emily, why don't you do X anymore? Stephanie, why don't you do X? Why don't you write? Why don't you dance? Why don't you sing? Why don't you laugh? Why don't you color? Why don't you run? Why don't you garden? Why don't you cook? Whatever that is, I want you to think about that and really connect with that. Because when we think about our little 10-year-old selves, they can really teach us a lot. And part of your homework over the next 30 days or until our next meeting is I want you to interview 3 people from your childhood. It can be best friends, it can be parents, it can be a teacher, it can be more than 3, but I want you to do at least 3. I want you to interview them and ask them, what were you like as a kid? What did you enjoy? What was your personality like? What did they think you'd be when you grew up? For me, when I did this exercise, I was scared to death. Not because I thought that people were going to be, cruel or say bad things, but just like bringing up that, I was like, this is weird. I don't know what they're going to say. So I emailed the questions because I was a chicken. So if you're a chicken like me, feel free to email the questions, and then you can follow it up with a phone call if you want to expand on it some more. But this is an amazing exercise because it will allow you to see and read about yourself and bring up thoughts and feelings that you completely forgot about. For me, in this exercise, one of my very best friends was like, you were so high energy. You were always so fun. And I was like, I don't know who she's talking about, but she's not talking about me. Like, I would have never described myself as high energy as in high school. Never. But once she said that, I was like, you know what? I was kind of fun. Where is that girl again? And so I really started to find her again. For my mom, she was able to pinpoint for me exactly when things changed for me. She told me the exact age that I started to get that self-doubt and that self-consciousness and just started to not really live anymore. And so she was able to pinpoint the exact age for me. And I was able to take that, pray about it, and really just kind of let go of that and heal that and move on from it. And it's a truly, truly a beautiful, amazing exercise. So I hope that you all do it. Step 6, I want you to read Self-Development to Feed Your Mind. And I know people tell you that all the time. Read 10 pages of a good book a day. And I'm not talking about your novels or your 50 Shades of Grey. I'm talking about a good self-development book. I suggest that you read The Big Leap. It's by Gay Hendricks. That book for me was life-changing. He talks about the barriers that you have created in your life, the blocks that you put up, how you self-sabotage, why you self-sabotage. And he also gives you suggestions on how to not do that anymore and how to recognize it and steps to put in place to stop it. So for me, previously, my self-sabotaging would last sometimes weeks and months. And now I can recognize it, and it might take me a day or 2 days to get over it, but typically it's hours. It's hours of, okay, yep, that's my upper limit. I know that. I feel the feel, let myself have a pity party for a minute, and then I move on. Whereas I was living weeks and months like that. And so you don't have to live that way anymore. And that book will help you do that. It doesn't have to be that book, but I want you to pick something that you will feed your mind in a positive way. Okay, step 7. I want you to get a mentor or an advisor. Someone that's objective, knowledgeable. I want this person to be honest and willing to give you the hard truths, because people can tell you all day long and fill you with fluff all day long, but that is not what we need. What we need is someone that's going to lovingly tell us what we need to hear. And so I want you to find that person for you. the thing about finding a mentor, an advisor, a coach, whatever you want to call it, is that you don't have to be making a certain amount of money to feel qualified to have that. You don't have to be special to have that person in your life. What makes you special is when you have that person in your life, when you're willing to listen to them and to let them help you, and that you trust them and you can form that relationship with them and have that objective person that's going to really tell you the honest truth. There is no better gift than that. I kind of laugh when Emily and I had our first session. She was like, "Are you like this with all of your people?" And I said, "Well, kind of." And I kind of joked about it afterwards. Like, you know, I always tell people, like, if you are wanting me to, like, give you attaboys all day long, I don't mind doing that, but that's not what my job is. My job is to be a coach, is to push you out of your comfort zone, is to hold you accountable, and to do it in the most loving and supportive way. And that I feel like I do. And so I want you to find that person for you. You can become all of these things if you just ask for the help, because chances are there's a person there wanting to help, that you feel that you could trust them and that you appreciate their feedback. They can be that person for you. So all of this really boils down to one thing, which is when you're 90 years old, what do you want your kids and your grandkids to say about you? Do you want them to say, you know, she had so much potential, but she was just too scared? Do you want them to say, you know, she was just a basket case all the time. She was like a hot mess. She always doing this and she was doing that, and she was never around, and she was never there for me. Or do you want them to say, like, she was an amazing woman that changed my life. She was a good mom, but she was tough. She taught me so much about my values and about hard work, but she knew how to have a good time. You know, I want you to think about what you want your family to say about you when you're 90 years old. You know, none of the things that I've mentioned to any of you are radical changes. You might be thinking, this is a little crazy. This woman wants me to do all of this stuff over 30 days. But truly, if you want to become the person that I think you want to become, all of those people do everything I mentioned. Think about the person in your life right now that is the most successful person that you can think of. I'm telling you, they read good books. They don't let the crazy lady in their head rule their day. They push themselves out of their comfort zone on a daily basis. They are a student. They're not a know-it-all. You know, all of these things are not radical things. They are disciplines, and it's going to take some thought and some planning to make sure that you're doing all of it, but nothing in here is hard. It's all easy to do. So over the next month, I want you to answer the questions that I kind of went over, but I'm also going to send you an email that has some of the questions in it, the most important questions. And those are the ones that I really want you to focus on. And so you'll get that in your email tonight. That'll help keep you kind of focused over it. I want you to read The Big Leap, or I want you to pick a book to read. Interview 3 people from your childhood. Create those affirmations, kind of the antidotes of all of that negative thinking that you're having. And I also want you to do something that is outside of your comfort zone. So that might be meeting a new friend. That might be going on a date night, getting a babysitter. It might be talking to that person that's on your chicken list that you've been wanting to share doTerra with. Whatever it is, I want you to go do it. So if anything that I have mentioned has made you uncomfortable, or any of the questions has kind of stirred up some stuff that you're like, whew, this is going to be a tough month, I want you to set up a 30-minute call with me. I want to help you through some of that. And this is free. The 30 minutes is free, but I want to help you kind of get through that breakthrough so that you can uncover some of the stuff, move the obstacles to the side, and really make the most of your month. Because you really can't do it alone. As much as you'd like to think reading a book and talking to your BFF is going to change your life, it truly isn't. You have to have an objective outlook. You have to have those people that are going to be hard on you and will hold you accountable. But I want to be the person that helps you through some of these blocks so that you can move forward and you can accomplish those great things. And I will give you some action steps to help you through getting over some of that stuff. Do any of you have any questions?
She's good.
Are you all overwhelmed now?
I'm not.
Trim's been taking notes. Go, Lucy, go.
My name's Lucian. So you were talking about like picking one person that I admire the most and like look at their personality and like what they do, like what are their habits that that you want to make yours. So like because I do have a lot of friends that are like that, like so driven, so ambitious, all the way successful and all these things. But like when it comes to like personality, people are different. So like how do you make sure you don't become somebody else that you're not? I mean, it's always good to like improve and change and but there's core, like there's inside of you, like that's always not going to change, and it's not necessarily bad, but it's just, that's who you are.
Right.
Good question.
So, okay, so let me give you an example. For me, when I was going through this journey, for me, it was a lot about, I needed to feel connected with God, and I needed to feel centered around that. So in that case, I was thinking of people that I wanted to emulate their faith. So what kinds of things did they do? They probably, made sure that they were at church on Sunday. They attended Bible studies, those types of things. Not that that changed me, but I wanted to emulate that. For another example was, I was not taking care of myself at all. There were days I would be lucky if I even got out of my pajamas. And so for me, and I've said it a couple of times, like the woman that I wanted to become, or the women that I admired, they took care of themselves. Now, I didn't have to do my hair the way that they did, or my makeup the way that they did, or dress the way that they did, but I certainly needed to get up and get showered and get dressed the way that Michelle wanted to. And so in that case, I would say browsing, like Pinterest as an example, will give you tons of great ideas on maybe go buy an outfit that makes you feel good. Just find things like that. Another example was I wanted to have a good network of really close, confident friends that I could be me with. That I knew that if I was having a really yucky day, that they weren't going to use it against me later, right? So I would try to think about, I had this one set of friends that I wouldn't necessarily say that they were super close to me, but they had a very close relationship. And so I thought a lot about, what are they like with each other? What kinds of characteristics do they have? How do they act in a supportive way to one another? And so I would really think about that, and I would write those kinds of characteristics down. To be that good friend, or to have that close group of girlfriends that I didn't have before, I had to not be gossipy. I had to not be the complainer. I had to serve, help them. If they were having a rough night, maybe bring them dinner. I had to do those things. And so I think that there are things that you can see in the people that you admire that you can modify so that it makes sense in your life, so that you don't feel like you're sacrificing your personality or your the way you want to come out into the world by looking like someone else or talking like someone else. Does that make sense?
Well, I think that goes back to what you were saying about interviewing those people from your childhood. I think that helps you find those personality traits that you want to come out again. Like you were saying, you forgot that you were energetic and live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I have a question.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Sorry.
You're fine.
I know. So you said, I'm trying to find it here in my notes. I think it was under the journaling. So stop venting and complaining to others. I love that. That is amazing. I know that I personally need to work on that. But can I vent and complain to my therapist? Is that person okay?
Yes, that person is okay. That's what that person is for.
Okay.
Your best friend is not your therapist.
Okay. And then can my mentor / advisor, person that's going to tell it to me straight, also be my therapist?
Yes, they can.
Just to be clear.
They can. They can. No, that's good. And I certainly don't want you to.
They're gonna make me talk to one.
No, I love it. It's my favorite day of the week. I go stuff on her, and I feel so much better. And I leave, and I've actually told her, I've apologized to her. I'm like, I'm sorry that I dumped this on you. And she's like, that's what I paid for. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Boom.
That's awesome. No, I think that's great. And the other thing I would encourage her to do, if she's not already doing, is to help you create some like good action steps. Trust me, I'm a therapy queen, right? I've definitely done my share. But one thing that I always felt was kind of lacking, and it could have just been the therapist that I had, was that I didn't feel like there was like strong action items out of it. Like they would listen to me spew, but I never really felt like, okay, but how am I going to fix it? And so that's what I want you to maybe focus on with her is, I'm going to spew all of this, but how do I flip it so that it's positive and that it helps me propel forward? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally hear what you're saying.
And I certainly don't want you guys to think that I'm saying like you can't ever say a negative or a bad thing. Because I have to have those outlets too. That there's people that I can be real with and that I can not be Coach Michelle with, as I kind of jokingly say. But I'll give you an example. So there's these two girls that I'm pretty close with. And one of them is absolutely driving me nuts right now. Totally driving me crazy. The natural thing for me would be to vent to the other one. Oh my God, she's driving me nuts. You know, she's driving me totally crazy. But instead of doing that, I've kept my mouth shut. Because if I'm not going to vent to the one that's driving me nuts, I certainly don't need to be venting to the other one. And so I just want you to be conscious about that. If you're complaining or you're frustrated about something or someone, take it to them and spew on them, whether it be your husband, your boss, whoever it is. Deal with them straight up instead of feeling like you have to vent to everybody to get your point across. That's just, I want you to be conscious about what you're putting out there.
Michelle?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, you know that I'm a health advisor and I've worked many years throughout my life with that. And I respect what you're doing a lot, you know that. So,
Yeah.
But my point that I'm trying to make is not really a question, but it's a point. I had some really cool people enter my life and do some wonderful things that just imprinted. And one of them was take the E out of emotion and put yourself in motion.
Yes.
And I've never, ever forgotten that.
I love it.
Really, it was me too. I say it in my head to the good Linda, not the crazy Linda, all the time. I tell her to shut up because I'm taking the E out of emotion and putting myself in motion.
Yep. It's true.
It's the crazy Linda sometimes, and then I go, Chuck, we're doing
And
this.
she goes into it.
We all have crazy.
She cleaned my whole house with that motion today. It was great.
Awesome.
So I just want to encourage people around me that we do have the E in emotion a lot, and it does motivate us or drive us in our daily lives because we're human. We cry, we get angry, we get boisterous, we get demonstrative, but how we collect ourselves in those moments after that moment like erupts
Right.
is what's important, because it will happen. You will cry, you will become angry.
Yes.
Well, you will become giddy. You can even laugh. You can even joke around. You can be sarcastic. All those things are part of us. And because I remember that so well, it has really sailed me through many things. It was the middle of a divorce when I was just so emotional. I was ready to jump off a cliff. I remember being in a phone booth. Did anybody know that? And I remember reciting that. And a guy came over because I was reciting it over and over so I wouldn't flip out. And he came over and goes, "Are you okay?" And I was crying at the same time. And I said, "Yes, I'm trying to take the E out of emotion." He looked at me like I was nuts. And he looked at me and he goes, "I'm just glad you're okay." I said,
love it.
"My best."
Another one I love is the grass is always greener where you water it.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Oh, thank you.
Well, and I think she brings up a good point because nowadays people are like, they're so used to prescription drugs and stuff that they don't feel like they are allowed emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And I work with people a lot that are trying to get off of those prescription drugs, and it's okay to have those moments. It's okay to have emotion. And they walk around like robots sometimes, and they're doing that.
Giving you guys a little bit more of my story. So at the end of last year, I was drinking a lot. I'm talking like not necessarily every night, but when I did, there was no off switch. It was like a bottle, if I was lucky, usually 2 bottles of wine in a sitting.
Wow.
And
I'm just kidding.
no, it was not a good thing. And I realized like I was doing it to shut off the emotion. And so January 1st, I decided I'm going to go 40 days without a drink. One, I didn't even know if I could do it, to be quite honest with you. I had no idea if I'd be able to go 40 days or not. Because I was using it as such a crutch. Like I'm, believe it or not, I'm more of an introvert than an extrovert. And I would get into situations where I would, have to share my business, or I'd have to like talk to strangers, and I would get really uncomfortable. Or if I was around people that didn't make me feel good, I would get uncomfortable. And so drinking was a way to kind of shut that off for me. But I'm telling you, it was so liberating for me over that 40 days to just feel the feels, like Emily said, like to feel the emotion and to really like think about why I was feeling that way. And during that time, I realized that there was a group of people that I did it to like cope with them. And so they were removed. They were my toxic people that I removed from my life. And not to say that I had to be nasty or anything to them. I certainly wasn't. But I did limit my time around them because I knew that if I was going to be around them, that was going to be something that I would want to do just to deal with them. And so, yeah, I mean, you have to feel those emotions, because if you're having those emotions, there's a reason for it. And so definitely don't push that down or just stuff it down, because then it gets dormant and then it will rear its ugly head at the moments that you really don't want it to.
Well, thanks, Michelle, for verifying what I said.
Yeah, you're so
That's
welcome.
a really good point. That's a really good point.
And the other thing I learned at 23, before Emily was even born, was accept them. It was like acronyms, and I'm really bad with that. Ask the girls in this room. I called her Chunky instead of
No, she's not allowed. She's not allowed to get. She has word confusion. It's called word confusion.
Acronyms totally mixed up from when I was knee high. And I could never understand that. When my dad would say, use your head for something more than a hat rack, I literally thought that my head was on the point of a hat rack, and it was pointy hat rack. And it would gross me out, and I would cry because I thought he was being mean. But the point of the matter is, Muriel Stolte taught me, accept them at face value with no changes made. So when you look at people through your lens, accept where they're at. Don't try and change them, but just share who you are.
Yep, absolutely. You got to love them where they're at for sure.
So I love those two. Take the E of emotion and accept them at face value with no changes made.
Yep. You know, the other thing that I really want to emphasize, especially as you're kind of going through about, you know, surrounding yourself with the people that lift you up, is that you absolutely have control over who is in your space and who isn't. You don't have to be around people because you feel like you have to be around them. If they don't serve you in a way that's positive, if you feel worse after they've left, then you have the absolute control over yourself to say, I am not going to let them do that anymore. You don't have to make a grand production, like I said. Like, you know how some people get on Facebook and say, I'm cleaning out my friends list. You don't have to do that.
That's called grandstanding.
Yes, exactly. You don't have to grandstand.
I actually cleaned out my friends list without announcing it.
Exactly.
Right.
There you go. You don't have to.
Good. You don't have to announce it. But when those people are in your life and it makes it a little bit harder, you just say, like, you know what? I'm so busy right now.
That's all. Yep.
I can't, I'm sorry, I've got this going on, or I've got that going on, or I'm doing a training and so I've got homework.
Yep.
You know, you don't have to.
No.
I have homework to do.
Yeah, homework.
Yeah.
You know what?
I have a book I have to read in 30 days.
Where's Nicole? Is she there?
We lost her. I think
So
we're fine.
I had to do that like a couple of years ago. Because like you were saying, like sometimes you don't want to vent and you don't want to complain all the time to the wrong person because it won't change anything. So sometimes you have to bring it to the person who's causing the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to cut that person out of my life, not because I had anything against the person, but because the person was bringing me down and it was affecting me negatively, and I couldn't handle it. And so like I had to let it go, and I had to make it clear that like there's nothing bad. It's just that I am not good for you, you're not good for me. And so I wish you the best, but we have to go separate ways just because our energy just didn't mix.
Right.
The other
Very true. So
The other
true.
one I was told from a really good friend. I was really frustrated. He said, what I read The Alchemist, a very good book. And we read it together and we were kind of dating. And I said, I get so frustrated and I just don't want to be that person. And I said, when people talk to me in a mean way and they put me down or they criticize me, he said, the best thing to do, it's a little word with 2 letters. Just say, oh. So when someone's saying, you really talk a lot, and all you ever do is tell me all your stuff, it really gets tiresome. I don't want to hear all that. And it's really bothersome. They're really like putting a whole bunch of stuff on you. And you just go, oh. Don't even say, oh, okay, because that validates them. Just say, oh.
That's good. That's a great advice.
It's stunning.
It is. That's great advice. Yeah, you have the power to not have those people around you.
She has some good tricks. She's taught me some good tricks.
Good.
I just block them on my phone so that they can't even call me for work-related business. Ooh, I pay the bill.
There you go.
Oh, I know. And when
That's
she's
the
not
Air Force. They
answering-
can't recall roster. We being recalled. I'm in the Air Force. It is probably critical and not on my phone. This one won't. I have one person it was really because two people, one guy on two separate occasions asked me if I liked this girl, and I couldn't understand where it was coming from. So the third time I told him, I said, let me take a moment. And I stared out to the heavens, and then I looked at him. I said, I know what to do.
Good.
Cut her off
There you go.
completely. And she's a hugger, and she likes to walk up to you and hug you. But obviously she was saying bad things to these people because she left them with the impression that I didn't like her. I have two friends that I work with on Facebook as Facebook friends. She was one. I didn't unfriend her. I don't like any of her posts anymore. I don't talk to her at work. I give her the Heisman. If she tried to hug me, I think she's getting the point. And so everything you said about keeping the people with that negative energy at a distance is really true.
It is. It's so true. And it's truly like the one gift that you can give yourself is to control who's in your space.
That's good. No, leave it out.
So,
Thank you, Michelle.
you're so welcome. I did want to let you guys know that if you don't have that advisor or you don't have that person, I would love to be that person for all of you. And I told Emily that I would give you guys a smoking bonus to be able to do that. And so normally my one-on-one program is for 12 one-on-one sessions, and it includes some other things, but that's the gist of it. It's $19.97, and you can do that over 3 monthly payments. But for you lovely ladies, through Wednesday, I'm going to do 3 sessions for $4.79 or 12 sessions for $16.79. And I'll send all of the details in that in the email that I send you tonight. And I do have payment plans available. If that's something that you're interested in, I'd really like to talk one-on-one privately about that to make sure that we're a good fit. Because if we're not a good fit, then it doesn't behoove you and it doesn't behoove me to be able to help you. So
Let me ask a question real quick.
Sure.
Can you, for orally, it goes in one ear and out the other, but written, it kind of sticks?
Yeah.
So if you do the emails, what exactly you just said about the time limit,
Yep.
can you put that in a little quick bullet thing?
I
And
sure can.
Possibly.
I'll also send you more details about what is included in the sessions.
If it's not too much trouble, because I know that's time consuming.
No, that's totally fine. I'd love to do that. And like I said, I really want to help all of you. So if you start going through the homework and you're like, whoa, like what did she say about this? Or it's starting to uncover stuff, then let's get on the phone for 30 minutes because I want to make sure that you guys are getting what you need out of this. But you know, this is just kind of the icing on the cake. There's so much more that we go through in my one-on-one sessions that I can't cover in a group session, especially only one group session a month. But I would love to do that for all of you to help you kind of make sure that your businesses are going the direction that you want them to go, and making sure that your relationships are thriving. It's so much more than just growing a doTerra business. It's a complete life transformation that I do with my women. And Emily's had 2 sessions, so she can tell you what her experience has been like. But
And I just wanted to, Sarah, it is hard. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
no, you're fine.
It was hard. I was talking to Michelle for a couple of months and saying like, oh gosh, I just don't have the money. But when I prioritized putting aside the money, I was actually able to make it back. That's how I was able to make silver, because I was able to focus on everything that needed to get done to accomplish the goals that I had. Because Nat will tell you guys, I am the squirrel girl. Squirrel! And then I go. And then I'm productive.
She gets stuff from me. I'm
Yeah.
very proud of that.
Yeah. And I can be super productive all the time. I can make stuff happen everywhere in everyone's lives.
Yep.
But when I'm spending that time where I shouldn't be, then I'm not reaching my goals, and then I go home at night and I haven't reached my goals.
And it internally frustrates people like
Right.
this because we think we're not accomplished that day.
Well, and then it comes down to I can't help the people that I want to help because I haven't met my goals.
Yep.
And it feels good to say I'm a silver leader, I can teach these girls how to do that. But if you don't get to those goals, then how are you ever going to?
How can we relate this to doTERRA? In our quest, each one of us wants to see a positive in a healthy environment.
You got to do these things first that she just said, and then you apply, and then it all comes together.
In a healthy environment, we want to be. That's a given. That's why we're all doing it. We want to see our families change, our bodies change, and the people around us benefit. But to do that, we don't want to be demonstrative. We don't want to fling the stuff like we're flinging it at a fan and then it goes everywhere. We want to stay concentrated and be beneficial.
Right. The first 6 weeks of my program is all about your mindset. It's all about getting your mind in a healthy way. It's all about having a positive relationship with money, because regardless of what you think about money today, if you don't have a positive relationship with money where you treat it with respect and actually believe that, you won't be able to attract the kinds of people and the kinds of abundance that you want until you get that story straight. And so many of us are so used to living
hand to mouth.
Yeah, that you can't even begin to even get the dirt off of your glasses until you can really get that story straight and understand where that story has come from. Because a lot of times it's not a habitual thing. It's almost learned behavior that you have to unlearn. And so at least that was the case for me, was that it was a lot of like just learned behavior that no one had ever really taught me, or I hadn't really thought about it in a certain way. And so that's kind of what this first 6 weeks is about, is just getting your money story straight, getting, there's a little bit of, finances involved in that, but it's mostly like how you think about yourself, what you believe about your own value and worth and desires, what you believe about your ability to earn money, to manage money. And then the second 6 weeks is all about hitting those goals that you want for yourself. If it's a business goal, great. For some women, I've helped them get through their first semester in master's school or their master's program. For other women, it's just building up their confidence to feel like they're an empowered stay-at-home mom. For everybody, it's totally different. I have one woman that's a widow that we've just been working on, like, how does she move forward in her life now that her partner is gone? And so it's different for everybody. But the first 6 weeks, I try to kind of keep the same, because there's a lot of crap that you have to work its way out so that you can live that abundant life that you want to live. So
I just want to get rid of Murphy's Law, the flat tires, the increase in insurance that they forgot to tell you about. And
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, Murphy's Law is everywhere.
It is. I mean, even watching it, my own son, and the changes in him just by watching the words I use. Like, things aren't expensive anymore. They're luxurious. I don't have a budget. I have an investment plan. I don't say I can't afford it. I say it's not a part of my plan. Just changing those little few words. And now you're going to go home and you're going to start talking to people and they're going to be like, I can't afford that. That's so expensive. And you're going to be like, whoa, it is everywhere.
I don't want to hear that.
Poor little 8-year-old. We went to go school shopping the other night and he wanted this backpack that was ridiculous. Like, I might have a healthy money story at this point, but I'm still not spending $60 on a backpack for an 8-year-old. And so he's like, but it's so expensive, Mom. It's so expensive. And I said, well, Aiden, it's not really the money that is the issue. We had a planned amount of money that we came to the store with, and that would put us over our planned amount. And so let's go find a different store that probably has just as good of a backpack that you will love just as much.
And you know what you just said? I remember people in the old days actually talking like that. They had dignity. They didn't talk about, oh, I'm too poor. Oh, I don't have the money. Oh, that's way out of my ballpark.
That was before credit.
They didn't say that. They were very dignified. They may even have lived in the poorhouse. They had poorhouses where you actually lived in group housing.
Yeah.
Like, they take their kids to get an ice cream, and if their kids asked for something, they said, well, not today. Maybe we can do that another day.
Right. That's like one of my favorite lines. Not today, maybe another day.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to watch the words that you use, because that is truly what morphs everything. And so I forget what our subject is. Wait, let me look. So next month.
Again, they talk like that. Remember that movie?
Oh, good. Next month we're talking about attracting wealth and abundance, and we're going to go over some goal setting and finances and things like that. And so you'll get a little bit of a taste of that.
And what is the date that we decided on that one?
We decided on the second Monday of the month. So I think it's the week after Labor Day. So it's more towards the middle of the month.
The 12th. So the 12th of September?
Yeah.
Way good.
Okay.
That's way good.
So you guys mark your calendar. So that's
Every month has a holiday.
1, 2, 3,
Except
4. So 5 weeks. That's good, because then we have our diamond leader coming into Alaska to teach us. That's exciting. Actually, you know what, Michelle? I'm going to be at convention. I'm going to be in Utah.
Oh. Well, we can change it to either one day later the week before. Like, it doesn't have to be a Monday, but I'll let you guys decide.
I can do mine from California, right, Michelle?
Yes, ma'am.
I can do it from the hotel room. I just don't know the schedule, like, you know what I mean, well enough to. We can do the 17th or 18th. That's a Wednesday or a Thursday.
What about the week before?
I can do the 5th. Can you guys all do the 5th?
That's right after
That, I think, is Labor Day.
That's Labor Day.
Oh, that is Labor Day.
Yeah.
Monday, that's Labor Day, but the Wednesday might be
Tuesday
all right.
the 6th, when the husbands all go back to work.
Yeah, we could do that Tuesday or that Wednesday, whatever works for you guys.
No, we can do evening again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot to make your hair.
Thank you, Sissy.
I forgot to make your hair.
Oh, okay. You can make
Well,
my
we are honored that you wanted to spend time with us. Thank you.
Well, I'm honored that you had me, so thank you.
Awesome, girl. Awesome.
And if you guys have not registered on my site, please make sure that you do that so that I can get you this recording and can get you your homework.
Now,
Yes.
I had a question. Emily asked me if I was registered. I said, I think I already am because I get emails from you. Am I registered, or should I need to do it a different way?
For this training.
Oh,
For this training, but I can put your name into, since I have your email in my thing, I can move it into that one.
yeah,
because-
because we have something else going on, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Because that was part of the deal, you guys. She offered this to us for free. Only thing she asked is to get you in her funnel, make sure that you're getting emails from her.
And I promise I won't spam you.
Normally this is
you won't
not
nag us.
this is not a free program normally. She just loves me a lot.
I do an awful lot.
And she wants to help me.
She's a team member. She's a
Yes, she just joined.
I did.
How is your cheer and motivate? How do you like your cheer and motivate?
I love it. I
Good.
feel grounded and balanced today.
Yay!
Did she
Yes.
join under you? Aw, congratulations, Michelle.
And what other one did you have? Citrus Bliss. Have you diffused that one?
Today I did that in the peppermint.
Yes, peppermint. A little drop of peppermint is amazing. Cool.
I tell you, as a medical professional for 22 years, the stuff works. Period.
I know, it is amazing. I do love it.
No more enhancement words that it needs to be. It works.
Okay. I don't want to keep you too much longer. Oh, it works.
There's
That's
a
true.
company called It Works, and they actually just started selling essential
Okay,
oils,
okay.
but they're not good.
No voice.
All
Okay.
right. So just say.
That's beautiful. And Evelyn sat through your whole training.
I don't know. It's awesome.
I know she did. She was so good.
You sat through the whole
She
training.
took notes, but
so
they
much-
were in
took
form
notes.
of pictures because she doesn't know how to do words.
She did. She
I
took
saw
notes.
I love it.
Did you see your baby?
That is awesome.
We got 2 littles. Okay,
Really
Michelle.
good.
Thank you for your time.
All right, I will send this recording to you guys tonight. It'll probably take a minute for it to do its thing, but I will get it out to you and I'll get you your homework.
Thank you for your time. That's
Thank you
awesome.
so
You're
much.
so welcome. I love meeting all of you, and I will talk to you guys. Hopefully, if not before, I will talk to you in a month.
100 praises to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.